Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Paradigm Shift, the podcast in which I challenge you in philosophy, spirituality, ancient history, and everything in between. And in today's episode, we will be talking about the dark night of the soul. So let's go ahead and do the intro. It is very important before we delve into the dark night of the soul to differentiate it from another psychological aspect that you could be going through, which is depression. Depression is a very difficult time that a lot of people go through. However, what they go through is on a psychological level, and it should be dealt with on a psychological level as well. So it is really important to know the difference between experiencing whether you're going through depression, whether you're going through something very, very tough times in your lives and anything like that, and something else that we will be talking about in this episode, which is the dark night of the soul. And the dark night of the soul is much more spiritual in nature. So it could have the same symptoms that depression could have. However, you could feel within you that it is not self-centric and it's not about things that are going with you, like I said, emotionally, whereas it is much deeper than that, and you can feel it within you because it affects you, like I said, on a philosophical or spiritual sense, and makes you question existential stuff, such as like, why am I here? Am I actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing here? And questions like that. So what I'll be doing through this episode in a short amount of time is try to understand and make you see the different symptoms that could rise from this dark night of the soul, and what you can do, why would it happen to you, and how do you deal with it so that you can come out differently. So basically, to define what it is, it's in simple terms, there's a sudden change in your beliefs and in your thoughts. Okay, and I'm gonna go through 6 points. And if you are going through these 6 points, or at least like a majority of them, then you would know that this is not just a regular difficult time in your life, or like I said, depression or something like that, whereas it's more on a soul level. And number 1 would be the deep sense of sadness towards your life, humanity, and the world as a whole. Number 2, it's unworthiness. Number 3, you feel lost. Number 4, you are powerless. You feel hopeless. Number 5, you lack joy in things that you once enjoyed. Number 6, you long to a distant place, a sort of a feeling of coming back home. Now, these changes that you could be going through are not easy, and they are some of the most difficult times that anyone can go through. I personally know a few people who are either going through it right now or have gone through it before. And when you go through something like the dark night of the soul, there's an entire shift of personality, of beliefs, something that is core deep within you that just doesn't work anymore. You can feel you are not aligned with your purpose. And the reason why it's called the dark night of the soul is because it's your soul that is out of line, not your psyche, not just a job that you're in or a difficult time you could be going through. However, it is triggered by moments like that. So when we go into why does something like this happen, it's basically, it could be triggered by a deep trauma that you had just gone through. So it could be something physical, like an accident, for example. You could be suffering from it because of a loss of someone that is close to you, someone deep that you had a relationship with that has passed away. You could have um, even less effects, such as, like, for example, losing your job or going through like a physical trauma, such as an accident, something like a broken bone, something like that. You had major surgery, you got sick for a very long time and stayed in the hospital. So basically, there's always something that is triggering this feeling, and it's usually much bigger than what you thought you could handle. And at that time, you experience this dark night, and it comes in a form where you realize that your soul is not aligned with the purpose that it's supposed to be here. So basically, everyone, all of us, we were born for a purpose. This is the most important information that anyone has ever told me. And for you to go through life without finding your purpose will always make you feel that something is lacking. However, at some point, some of us deviate so far from the path that we were put on, that was chosen for us, that we need to realign with it. And this is where the dark night of the soul comes in. That's where you are completely disaligned from it. You completely feel lost and powerless. And this is something that could go on for weeks, for months, or even for years. It's not a short amount of time. And you could lose a lot of people because of it. You could lose your job, as in like you quit. You could try different things to kind of alleviate yourself and to reshape yourself and find your purpose. But that sense of dread and darkness, some have experienced it, and some have said that it's kind of like taking a night ride in a boat that is without light, that you don't know where you're going, and you're just rowing to complete nothingness. And it's really not easy, and it's really difficult to go through. It could also apply to some of the religious stuff that you have been taught. So sometimes most of us who grew up in these places where religion kind of takes center stage and it's a bit on the extreme side, at some point growing up, you realize that you never made a choice when it comes to what religion you really believe in, or you never made a choice into what you want to put your faith in. Where's your soul going? And you start realizing that what I've been taught just doesn't apply to what I believe in right now. And this creates this sense of loss, of unworthiness, of powerless, that you want to shed everything that you have been taught from before, and you just want to realign yourself, as I said. Now, if you feel something like that, don't worry, because it's easy to worry, it's easy to be afraid of the unknown. However, everyone has gone through something like this at some point and have come out of it. So there is an end to this long tunnel that you're in right now. And basically, there are a few steps or a few things that you could do that would help the process. And one of the most important things is to endure it. Just endurance. Just ride it out. Take a step back. Accept that you're going through something that will eventually lead you on a path of self-discovery, and just ride the wave, as they say. Endure the darkness, because it's really important while you're going through something like this not to feel guilty or shamed because you are not believing in the things you used to believe before. And I'm talking more religiously because that's where most of our shame comes in. We could feel shamed when we want to change our jobs, perhaps because we are afraid that we won't be able to provide to our family or to ourselves anymore. We can be shamed when we let go of old friends because we feel that we could be maybe feeling superior to them, or we're not in line with them anymore, and all that. And all these emotions and feelings of shame and guilt really affect that dark night of the soul and make it go longer, because you're not actually learning anything from it. All you are is just dreading yourself and hating yourself more and more, and that doesn't help. So as long as you stop feeling guilty and just accept it for what it is. At the same time, no matter how long this dark night goes on, all you have to do is just observe the world around you. Just look around, see what's coming up. Are there random encounters with people that you didn't think will mean anything to you? Are you going are old people coming back to your life, people who you thought that either you don't want to see anymore? Old wounds and triggers are coming up again, something you thought you dealt with, but it's coming back up again in abundance. There's so much of that happening again. So all you have to do is just look around and notice what's happening and accept it as part of this journey you are on, because everything that shows up when you are in this dark night will eventually lead you to the light, will eventually make you come out of this. It's very important to understand what's happening around you. And finally, all you have to do is accept and have faith that everything that is happening to you is happening for a reason, and it's leading you to a greater good. Something that one way or another, you will find a light out of this. And the person that's gonna come out on the other side is the person that you were born to be. Once you make peace with that idea that right now you are not the person you were born to be, and that's why you're going through this very long dark night of your soul, you will be able to accept it, take it slow, take a deep breath, and believe, just like we have all believed, just like every other person who have gone through this believed, that you will come out from the other side a new human, a new soul, someone that you were born to be, someone that will finally be aligned with your soul and what the purpose of that soul really is. And I'm just gonna leave you with a sentence, with a quote. It says, "The endurance of darkness is preparation for great light." All you have to do is take a deep breath, endure this very difficult time that you are going through, because the light will shine again. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.